I'm sorry?
Libya.
Libya.
It's going to be fun. Pentagon officials say the U.S. is preparing for, quote-unquote, decisive military action against ISIL in Libya. What is happening in Libya that would warrant a decisive military action?
You're referring to what comments exactly?
General Dunford's comments last week.
Well, I mean, we've talked a little bit about Libya as a place where ISIL and ISIL-aligned groups have gained a foothold. And in fact, as we've said before, this highlights the need in Libya for a unified national government that can partner with the international community to address this threat. And so our focus, frankly, is on moving that political process forward, getting a government in place, and then seeking ways to cooperate more decisively with this new Libyan government to take the fight against ISIL. But we certainly view it as a threat there. In terms of what General Dunford said, we've noted our concern about ISIL in Libya before, and we've expressed a willingness to take action against them. I know on November 15th, I think it was, the Pentagon did carry out a strike against an ISIL leader in Libya. And we've said very clearly we're going to go after ISIL wherever they operate, and that remains true. And so we're working with the international community, working with and want to work, frankly, and partner with a new Libyan government to promote stability and strengthen governance in Libya. Again, I think the very fluid situation in terms of the political climate in Libya, frankly, we believe allows groups like ISIL to have a foothold. And so we would urge the Libyan government, various Libyan political groups, to come together and form a unified national government as soon as possible.
Did the Obama administration have any idea back in 2011, as it helped bomb Qadhafi out of power, that before long the U.S. would be back to Libya bombing terrorists?
Well, again, I mean, what you've got in many of these, frankly, fluid or ungoverned spaces, this is nothing new. We've seen it with Al-Qaeda as well, where these terrorist groups seek to establish a foothold. Again, it's what speaks to the importance of establishing good governance, establishing a government that can create stability through military, through police, also through good governance. And excuse me, let me finish. And that's absolutely vital, and that's certainly the case in Libya. We've seen it elsewhere. We've seen ISIL establish a foothold in Iraq, given some of the instability there. And we've seen it establish a foothold in Syria, obviously, given the tremendous instability caused by the Assad regime there. So, I just acknowledge that we are concerned about ISIL being a threat, seeking to reach out, establish a presence in Libya. And as such, we're going to look at ways we can attack it there.
My question was, did the Obama administration see it coming as it helped topple Qadhafi back in 2011?
I mean, I don't think ISIL existed back in 2011, but what's it?
Okay.
Oh, not in its present form, but you can argue with that. Brad, I'll give the question over to you next. That said, what we would like to see in Libya post-Qadhafi is the establishment of a Libyan government that can, again, establish good governance and look at some of these security challenges, and we're absolutely ready to partner with them. As for foreseeing what the threats were on the horizon back in 2011, let's remember in 2011 we had Qadhafi on the ground threatening to massacre huge amounts of the Libyan population at the time, and we stepped in with our NATO partners to prevent that threatened massacre of the people.
To what extent did the proliferation of terrorists in Libya catch the Obama administration by surprise?
To what extent did well, I mean, look, I mean, we understood that Libya was a very ungoverned space in the wake of Qaddafi's downfall. We worked very hard.
It wasn't ungoverned when Gaddafi was still in power.
Again, let's be very clear about the situation that you say when we intervened in Libya, and if you need me to walk you through it, I'm happy to do that. But we had the Libyan leader, Muammar Gaddafi, threatening to wipe out cities. I think, and again, I'm paraphrasing now, but to hunt people down like animals or dogs and kill them. He threatened to do that to his own population, so we intervened.
Can I follow very quickly?
Sure, Saeed.
Now, there is, everybody speaks a report of hundreds, maybe even thousands of ISIS members going to Libya from Syria and Iraq and so on. Now, they must be transiting through places like Egypt and so on. Are you working with the Egyptians to sort of catch these guys before they get to Libya?
I mean, it's a fair question, and obviously that kind of foreign fighter flow is clearly a priority for us and how to prevent it and stem it. I mean, we've seen the same, we have foreign fighters flying over the border from Turkey. And, so yes, it is a challenge. Yes, we are taking steps with Turkey, with with Egypt as well, to stem that flow. We're not there yet, so.
I mean, if these guys go overland, then they are going through countries that are allied with the United States, like Jordan, the Sinai, Egypt, and so on, things of that nature.
Sure. I mean, it's a fair question, Saeed. I just don't have the details on how these guys transit some of these countries, except to recognize that, it's one of our, major areas of effort, rather, in combating ISIL. Sure, Abby.